Hi everyone, welcome back to another Saturday, and I'm super excited because our last video reached over 200 views and I'm super excited to be able to share my Saturdays with you. So today we're going to talk about the anatomy of a pointe shoe. It's going to be basically pointe shoes 101. I'm so used to using terms about pointe shoes because I work with pointe shoes fitting dancers every day. But for those of you who may not be so familiar with all of the terms, we're going to talk about those today. We're going to talk about the different components of a pointe shoe and how separately each item comes together to work together to help support the dancer's foot. The first place that we're going to start is going to be the shank, which is the sole of the shoe. Typically, the sole of the shoe, or the shank, is comprised of two pieces of leather. We have a leather outboard sole and typically a leather inboard sole, which is then lined with a piece of breathable fabric, either suede or cotton or another kind of breathable fabric, which makes it comfortable for the dancer. There are different kinds of shanks, either full sole or what can be considered a 3/4 sole that breaks nice and high for the dancer's foot. Typically, in a traditional shank, it's comprised of a two-piece leather outboard and leather inboard, but there's also an option to have a leather outboard and a piece of polymer, also called plastic, which creates a more springy effect for the dancer and can wick away moisture and sweat, sometimes giving the shoe a little more longevity. The box of the pointe shoe is this area here. It's comprised of the vamp, which is the length from the platform to the drawstring, and the wings here. So when we're looking at a pointe shoe, when we look at the vamp, we can do something tall or we can do something short. Usually when we're choosing a vamp that's nice and tall, we're using that to help oftentimes give a dancer more support or keep an overly flexible foot in the shoe and hold the dancer back, giving her more support that way. If we choose a vamp that's shorter, it can allow the dancer to have a better roll through and push over the box more easily. The wing, which is the side of the shoe, helps the dancer have more lateral support and can help her focus to push over that big toe more easily. Some of the wings have a heavier pasting, like we see in this one, for more lateral stability, and some have a shorter and lighter weight pasting for that easier roll through. So included in the box is going to be the flat platform area where the dancer stands on pointe. And when we're looking at the box, there's a variety of different pastings that each manufacturers use, depending on if you want a relatively soft shoe for performance or a stronger shoe, which will be something more for rehearsal, which we'll talk about in next week's video on Saturday. So when I'm talking about pastings, I'm talking about basically a glue. It's the way the glue forms to the foot and the dancer's foot print inside the shoe. And the way that manufacturers make the pointe shoes, it's going to be a series of layers of canvas and paste. So the stronger you want the shoe, the more layers and the heavier the glue. The softer you want the shoe, more for performance, the fewer layers and the softer the break-in glue is going to be. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the drawstrings. And typically the drawstrings come in two choices, either a stretch elastic drawstring or a traditional cotton canvas drawstring. And the drawstring is a great idea because it helps close up any gap in the shoe and helps the dancer feel more connected and a snugger fit to the shoe as well. In our previous video, I had mentioned that most manufacturers offer a variety of different shank options, but don't let that fool you. They're really not just talking about the shank. They're also talking about how the box comes into play in coordination with that shank too. So if you're ordering a stronger shank, that box is going to be reinforced with a stronger box as well, because together the box and the shank come together to help support the dancer. So if you're not sure if your shoes are still meeting your needs, tap the link on our bio and schedule an appointment, and we'll be happy to double check those for you.